Now,
All right, folks, and welcome to Perkiomen Valley High School for some PAC boys basketball. This evening we have the Vikings of Perkiomen Valley taking on Springford Rams. I'm joined here by Danny Collins and we are here to have this amazing opportunity to watch this night of competition, friendly rivalry from across the road of Springford.
yep. We also have Rylan Hawley here with us tonight, our student statistician. This is going to be two teams going in two different directions, at least this season. PV currently ranked 27th at District 1, and Springford ranked 14th and looking to enter into the PAC playoffs. And PV looking to just end the season. And I shouldn't say end the season. There's some things that can happen that keep them available for district players, but we'll have to see what happens there. But either way, this is a rivalry, and this will be a battle.
As we get started, you can see a scrum on the floor. Even though the Vikings win that tap, we have some things on the ground, players on the ground, and we have a timeout early for the Vikings.
Yeah, it looked like PV just wanting to keep possession, called the timeout there. So quick timeout, 12 seconds into the game, but I don't think they're re-strategizing, but we'll see what happens.
Yes. So the starting lineups for tonight for the visiting Rams, we have Tommy Kelly, number 2, Jacob Nguyen, number 3, Jordan Masilio, number 4, Jack Kennedy, number 12, and Sayer Barnes, number 14. For the Vikings, we have John Boyd, Con Hollingsworth, Anthony Rodriguez, Con Hollingsworth, and Chase Kelly. Chase Kelly gets the ball on the inbounds and scores, putting PV up 2-0 to start.
PV coming out in the man-to-man defense. Chase Kelly, who's been inserted into the starting lineup probably about, I'd say, the second half of the season, really has done a nice job in that role.
Yeah, PV coming out pretty intense defensively. You wouldn't know exactly what the records of both of these teams are, and it never matters. This rivalry game, really, all bets are off, and everyone's going to put their best out on the floor. Tied up with a bucket here for Springford, 2-2 early on in this game.
Nice left hand there by Jack Kennedy. Springford showing an extended 2-3 zone, really out far in it. PV, hasn't been a great shooting team nor a great three-point shooting team all season, but I guess Springford just doesn't want them to get on track. Nice take there by Jacob Harkin.
Jacob Harkin with a nice score. That flash to the high post, the way to pick apart those matchup zones is always a good thing, and PV does a great job of picking those things apart.
Yeah, if you're going to extend the zone, it's going to allow things open, like you said, Sean, baseline down. So if you can get the ball into the center of that and look to attack, you'll be in a good spot.
An early foul here for Anthony Rodriguez against Jacob Nguyen is going to put the ball on the side for Springford.
Yeah, Anthony has to avoid those fouls, especially that far from the basket this early in the game. You need him on the floor. You can't get into a situation where you're going to have to sit down with early foul trouble and then, God forbid, get yourself in a situation where you have to exit the game. And that's been one of his Achilles' heels with picking up those fouls that really are far from the basket.
PV with some good defensive trapping there against Kelly is going to put the ball back underneath the basket here for the Rams.
Springford coming off 2 impressive wins against O&J Robertson, Norristown.
That ball's going to stay here for the Rams. Jacob Nguyen thinking he got fouled on that. May actually be true, but he did not get the foul, and we have a ball out of bounds here for the Rams.
Springford sitting at 13-6 overall, 5-2 in the pack. Perkiomen Valley at 8-10 overall and 3-3 in the pack.
Yeah, certainly the postseason hopes for both teams are much different. But tonight, I think this is about pride, and we're going to see a good basketball game regardless of what those records are.
Yeah, absolutely. These are two teams that like to get at it, whether they're having a good season or a bad season. When they play one another, it's that Alabama-Auburn mentality. You know, this could make or break, not make or break their season, but certainly, you know, leave a good taste or a bad taste in your mouth.
Chase Kelly controls up top, pass to Anthony Rodriguez. Harkin takes a drive to the basket, takes it strong, but could not connect. Tommy Kelly with the rebound.
Yeah, nice help defense there. Springford sliding over to help out. Then drawing the call down the other end is number 14, Sair Barnes, only a sophomore.
Yeah, Sair Barnes had a great game the last time the Vikings played over at Springford, and he's a player that's quick, and he can score from the outside as well. So certainly a player to look out for this evening.
Again, just a young player for them. Jacob Nguyen and Tommy Kelly are the big scorers for Springford. Coming off the last contest, Jacob Nguyen had 12, and actually Sair Barnes also had 12 within the previous game against O&J. Jacob Nguyen had 12 points, Tommy Kelly 11, and Sair Barnes 9. So 3 scores now in that lineup for Springford.
Springford looking to extend their defense and match intensity on the defensive side of things. Hollingsworth passes to Kelly. Miscue there for Anthony Rodriguez is going to turn the ball over.
Yeah, kind of using a tennis term that we've used in the second half of the season and with our Perkiomen Valley team is unforced errors. You know, you're really not having a tough defensive team, but at that moment, a good defender on you as far as putting pressure on you, and you're trying to make a basic pass and we're not able to connect on it. That's happened quite a bit. And, you know, it's late in the season now, but those are things I'm sure Coach Poiston wanted to erase early on.
This foul is going to go against Jacob Harkin on the block. It's going to be the third team foul for the Vikings early in this first quarter.
Yeah, that is a quick 3 fouls. And, again, Anthony Rodriguez with one of them. PV getting lost there in the shuffle on the inbound.
Jack Kennedy scores the easy bucket for the Rams. Hollingsworth to Boyd.
Perk Valley hasn't seen a lot of 2-3 zones. You don't see a whole lot of teams play it a whole lot anymore. This looks like a bread and butter defense, actually. At least it is tonight for Springford. Syracuse was famous, and Jim Boeheim for executing probably the best 2-3 defense ever for years. And when teams would play Syracuse, that's all they would see was a 2-3.
Yeah, it's certainly, if you perfect it, it's certainly hard to score on. And this intensity stays high.
Yeah, both teams are going to get on the floor at loose balls, as you just saw there. And Anthony Rodriguez down on the ground. Great hustle every night in and night out from Anthony.
Yeah, if there's a loose ball, he's pretty much going to be the first one there.
Whether he's next to it or not.
This is true. So Springford will take over.
Chase Kelly checking out for the first time. Joey Keogh checking in for Perkiomen Valley.
Yeah, PV going smaller with their lineup.
Somebody forgot an assignment there on a pick and roll. Nice play by Springford getting the dunk.
Tommy Kelly with the dunk inside.
Yeah, Tommy Kelly with two-handed throw down there. That gets the crowd excited for Springford.
Keogh turns the ball over on the baseline.
Yeah, Joey had to stretch out a little bit to catch that pass, and it kind of put him off balance a little bit. Not able to hold his plant foot. Gets called for the travel, dragging that foot across. Not as big of a crowd, Sean, and Ryland, as we've seen either here or at Springford in the past. Maybe the crowd will get louder as we go, but that could be indicative of where both teams are as far as the season is concerned. And
it's also pretty cold out there, Mr. Collins.
That may be a factor too.
Anyway, yeah, this is certainly not typical of what you'd see. This could be a standing room only game in the past, and maybe that is typical of this year, right? Of just where both teams are, both fighting for kind of some postseason berth instead of just kind of sitting at the top of things. Either way, but all these players really, you wouldn't know that at this point. All players are really playing hard, and 2 points there for Joey Keogh.
Yeah, nice turn and pivot there by Joey with the good intermediate jumper.
That puts the Vikings back within 2. Sierra Barnes misses. Keogh controls. He pushes some fast break. Drives a little bit out of control. Is going to go back to Springford.
Yeah, and there's the situation again that, we've seen it a lot all season where you've made a nice play in the defensive end and you're coming down offensively. You're in a 1-on-3 situation there. What's the point of hurrying your shot? Get back and run an offense. And again, when you're a team that's like Perkiomen Valley, that's shooting 42% from the field. I'm sorry, 40% from the field. The best thing you can do is A, try not to shoot a whole lot, and B, don't put the ball in the other team's hand. So if you control the offense, you're going to be in a good spot there. Anthony Rodriguez kind of getting pushed into that and not getting called for the foul, but an offensive foul on Springford.
Yeah, you sold that one pretty well. But that was clearly an offensive foul, a little nudge there, and you're 100% right. I mean, when you're a team that's having a hard time being proficient offensively, the shots that you take have to be good ones.
Yeah, it's not going to be about quantity, it's about quality.
Keogh. And here comes the trap, finds John Boyd. He pulls up for 3, off the mark. Anthony Rodriguez coming down with that rebound.
Yeah, Anthony certainly bringing the intensity tonight. Nice job by him ripping that rebound away. They're calling a jump ball, possession PV. Maybe we're not seeing a lot of people tonight because we got the matchup tomorrow night between our girls here from PV and Springford girls. Oh, we got an offensive call the other way?
I'm not certain what that call was.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I think they're saying it was out of bounds. It's going to be Springford ball again. Yeah, that PV basketball girls, I mean, let me just tell you, that team is certainly on fire. They came off a huge win against Archbishop Wood this past weekend, and that Springford matchup this Friday is going to be a good one too.
Anthony Rodriguez swimming for the basketball. There's Jacob Harkin down on the ground as well. Our PV boys certainly came out scrappy tonight, that's for sure.
They did. That putback is good there for number 22, Luke Puffco.
What they want to do, though, is control their emotions a little bit.
Right.
It's good to play with intensity. Don't get in a situation where you're going to pick up silly fouls and force bad shots. You want to play with good intensity. There's no doubt about it. But keep it in check.
Boyd controls Hoppenwasser in the game. Rodriguez drives into the lane. A nice dish and go off the backboard. Tommy Kelly controls. Boyd with the turnover.
Yeah, created by Anthony Rodriguez.
After a little bit of a melee, though, there's another turnover. A number of things happening all at once.
Yeah, sloppy basketball at both ends right now, actually.
Jacob Nguyen settles and scores a nice turnaround bank shot for the Rams. Under 30 seconds to go here. And PV's looking to come within 8. I'm sorry.
Down 6 at this point.
They're
That's
down
all right.
6.
They're kind of off balance on their offensive set, trying to get things there settled.
Yeah, it just seems like they're a little bit lost out there on the offensive side. You're not really sure who they're going to, who's their contributor, and they're really just kind of falling apart. They need to find a way to settle things down and get into an offense that's normal for the Vikings.
Jordan Marsilio checking in for Springford, checking back in as he started the game. We got 7.9 seconds left.
Harkin pulls up, and he is fouled with 2.4 remaining here in the first quarter. He'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, major no-no there. You don't want to foul a jump shooter, let alone a three-point shooter. You got a team that's not shooting it well, and I think this is the emotion still carrying in. Both teams will probably come out a little bit more settled. We'll see in the second quarter, but not a good foul. But let's see if Jake can connect. He is a 72% free throw shooter on the season.
Jacob missing the first one.
Anthony Rodriguez checking out for the final 2.4 seconds. Matt Baker's going to check in for Perk Valley.
And he missed that one.
I thought it was a three-pointer. It should have been three shots.
That's what I thought, too. Well, he makes the second, and then there's a foul with .1 against Ty Hoppenwasser. Fouling Jack Kennedy. He'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, with 1/10 of a second. Well, the pass should have never been able to be executed. They should have been back at stopping that, but to pick up that foul with .1 seconds, that's tough. Both teams practically hitting the 5-team limit coming out in the first quarter here. And we got 1/10 of a second. You never know. One of them might.
Hey. And he makes the second. That one puts Springford up 14-7 at the end of the first round. What do you got for us as far as stats so far this game?
We're seeing a 37% shooting from the field. And we're seeing a lot. It's a rival game. You're going to see a lot of hustle. And we've seen from Anthony driving for that ball and stuff. But it's just making our shots, being more selective, I feel like, and just finding that good shot. Don't rush. You have 3 more quarters to play, enough time to take anything away, and just it's gonna be hard, but it's a good Springford team, but hopefully this PV team can come out and win.
Yeah, it's one of the things we've harped on all year is valuing the basketball.
Right.
And, you know, in years past, PV, I would say, well noted for it. And, you know, Coach Poison, I know, is coaching the same way and all that. This team just is so impatient. And if they see a little crack, they think it's something that they should just take advantage of. And even sometimes if it is, it's not the best thing to do at that time, especially if you're trying to control the pace of the game. Even if you're going to make it or miss, if you've got a team that wants to get up and down the floor, you're playing right into their style. So PV needs to kind of set the tone with their style. If they could take anywhere from 20 to 25 seconds per possession each time on offense, that's going to be a good thing to do because, again, that just keeps the ball out of Springford's hand. You might see them start to get a little itchy and look to press, you know, and then we got to be careful of turnovers. But value the basketball and value your possessions.
100% true. So we're here starting into the second quarter, and to kind of agree with you there, most of the success that you've seen for PV basketball has been with teams that are methodical. Teams that really take care of the basketball and like you said, juice 30 seconds off a clock and are able to kind of finish and execute on a possession. In these circumstances, they're forcing a lot of things. And quite honestly, both teams are really doing a lot of that. Springford finding some success with their ability to get to the rim and also rebound and score there for Tommy Kelly.
Now here's an extended 1-3, a 2-1-2 that Springford's gone into. So they're trying to force the pace here a little bit.
Harkin off the mark on that drive to the basket. Springford out in transition, and they turn the ball over. I'm curious to see exactly how many turnovers we've had so far this evening.
Yeah, and back to the valuing the possession. As a team, Perkiomen Valley plays great defense. Last night in the win over Boyertown, held Boyertown to 23 points. Now that I'm sure is attributed to poor shooting by Boyertown to some degree, but you have to credit the opponent for good defense. Tommy Kelly. I'm sorry.
Chase Kelly.
Chase Kelly. I got the wrong Kelly. Nice move.
It's a nice turnaround jump shot, and the score is going to put him into the free throw line to finish off that three-point play.
PV still only down 7 at this time. Could make it 6 if Chase is able to connect here.
And he does. Score 16-10, 6:54 remaining in the second quarter. PV's going to pick up in their man-to-man defense.
Good job there by Jacob Harkin to get a hand on the ball. Picked up by Colin Hollingsworth. John Boyd with it now.
Harkin against Nguyen.
Coach Poisden yelling over for the sideline, telling Anthony to get to that high post. Make that defender or the two defenders come up from the baseline.
Harkin pulls up, that way off the mark. John Boyd gets the rebound, and it stays here for PV. He's going to try to settle into a score. Driving kick. Chase Kelly.
Now, great success there on the offensive possession, but just not able to capitalize at the end.
That three off the mark for Kennedy, and it's going to stay here for the Rams.
So the other Achilles heel for over the course of the season has been defensive rebounding for PV. And just in that shot right there, as I watched, and again, it went off Chase Kelly. Chase Kelly and Anthony Rodriguez were underneath three other PV players out towards half court. They got to stay there and help rebound. And even if they do get the rebound, I don't think Coach wants to go out. Coach Poisden wants to go out and run the floor. So they got to keep all five guys back on the defensive end, helping the box out.
That foul is going to be against number 4, Jordan Marsilio. PV's going to take over. Chase Kelly up top. And the turnover here. Sayer Barnes scores in transition.
Yeah, Jacob kind of stopped at the last second there to receive that pass instead of stepping all the way to the pass, and he was able to step in it and steal it.
Chase Kelly. That one off the mark. And these are good shots. However, they're just not falling. And PV's having a really hard time finding their place on the offensive boards.
Yeah, and quick shots. Coach Poisden taking a timeout.
His microphone's off. Try it again.
We'll see what Coach tries to draw up here. Coach Poisden with the timeout.
Yeah, PV down by 11, 5 minutes remaining in the first half. And you know, Rylan, do you have anything as far as stats so far? There's a lot's happened since the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, it's just the turnovers and honestly also adjusting to the Springford's defense. That's what's causing the turnovers. Is you see Springford coming up full court, or they'll meet a guy at half court, and it's just PV has to adjust to that. And all these turnovers that PV are having is leading to points from Springford. So I think that just limiting that is going to help.
Yeah, you're right. They came out in the second quarter with a 2-1-2, playing right up around half court, which was different than what they played in the first quarter. But we tend to pass a little too much laterally.
Right.
We need to look towards the basket. Fundamental thing you want to do as a player, every time you catch a ball, no matter where it is on the floor, with the exception of, you're trying to inbound full court pressure, you want to look at the rim. And by looking at the rim, you can see the floor. If you start focusing laterally, that's when defensive players are going to look to jump in the passing lanes because they see your eyes.
In this circumstance, we have Rodriguez on the perimeter. Springford back into a man-to-man defense. A drive for Harkin in and out. Rodriguez dives on the floor, and we have a foul.
The foul should be on number 22 for Springford, Luke Puffko, falling on top of Anthony, and I believe that is the call.
And the Vikings will take the ball out underneath the basket. It is the third team foul against Springford for the quarter.
Yeah, with a lot of time left, 4:37. So PV wants to attempt to get to the basket here, get fouled. Don't rush anything again. Eat time off that clock. Nice turnaround there by Colin Hollingsworth.
A nice shot there for Hollingsworth. Good inbound there from Rodriguez. Makes this a 9-point game.
But if you get Springford into the 5-team fouls and now you're shooting 2 fouls from that point on out, then, hey, take advantage of that. Slows the game down, gives you the chance to hit free throws, get you right back in this. Even though you're not out, you're only down 9. So
A 3 on the way here for Nguyen is good. Falling down.
yeah, he's tough to defend. He's got a quick release, which makes him even more difficult to defend. He doesn't need much space to be free to get that shot up and get a good quality shot up.
Yeah, Nguyen actually did not play against PV the last time that we played over at their place, and so you're seeing his presence felt early in this one. John Boyd's 3 off the mark, and Hollingsworth the rebound. He's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. That 4th-team foul. That one against Marsilio.
It's either Marsilio's 2nd or 3rd foul in the half here. It's cutting out again. Usually something. Able to connect on the first. Colin Hollingsworth hits the 2nd.
Second free throw goes down there for Hollingsworth. Makes this an 11-point game.
We'll see if PV could play some good defense here in the last 3:30. Cut this 11-point lead down.
Yeah, PV stays in there. There's man-to-man defense, and they really haven't switched out of that all game. You wonder if a switch, a trap here or there might actually give a little bit of a spark for turnovers. But Springford kind of knows how to handle. They're gonna hold and try to get the right shot. Take the air out of the ball a minute to get a good possession. Win. Pulls up for 3. And that one is good.
Yeah, Coach Dempsey taking a timeout after that make. I think he may be coming out with something maybe new here, full court-wise, we'll see against PV. Sensing that he may have an opportunity here to really extend this lead at this time if he's sensing that PV is really kind of struggling at this time. So with Jacob Nguyen catching fire, he might be looking for that opportunity to do just that.
Yeah, 2 threes here for Nguyen in the second quarter, and that second one, he created separation with some pretty impressive dribbling and just knocked that down. It was pretty fluid for him. So a 27-13 advantage, 27-13, a 14-point advantage here for the Rams. And PV's going to take the ball out underneath their own basket. It's curious to see what happens defensively for the Rams and what PV's going to be able to do with it. Springford extending full court. Sayer Barnes scoring against Keogh. Keogh turns the ball over. Sayer Barnes in transition is fouled by Chase Kelly.
Yeah, gets the foul, not able to hit the basket, but he'll get 2 shots at the line.
Makes the first. And the second.
2:34 here left in the second quarter. Yeah, Springford now doing a 3-quarter court, kind of backing off out of it now, going man-to-man.
Yeah, they're starting to apply some more pressure to the ball handler up top, realizing that PV's having a difficult time with any pressure. Jacob Harkin drives that one in and out. John Boyd
Nice follow by John there, following up behind Jacob Harkin. Jacob Nguyen pointing to his teammate to come set a screen for him.
That foul's going to be against Ty Hoppenwasser.
Owen Baker checking in for Perkiomen Valley.
Keogh against Barnes, a drive for Kennedy. And win. A minute 30 remaining here in this first half. Win for three. That one looks like he was partially blocked. A rebound, though, for Marsilio is going to score two more for the Rams.
Yeah, good defense there by Jacob Harkin, and then nobody hitting the boards. Only one person hitting the boards, and then another defender for Perk Valley kind of just standing and watching, and two other guys just not even near the basket.
Jacob Harkin, willing his way to the basket, is going to go to the free throw line to hopefully put two more on the board for the Vikings, and they're struggling. They're down 16 with a minute remaining here in the first half. Will Stein finding some action here in the first half for the Vikings. Under a minute to go. PV down by 15.
Looks like Springford's just going to hold for a final shot.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. I mean, listen, there's nothing they need to really do to extend. I mean, they're up 15. Slow things down and execute and hopefully come out with another 2 points. PV's been working really hard defensively, but they're having a hard time on the boards.
Down to 15 seconds now. Ooh, almost out of bounds there. Good play. Ooh.
Will Stein with a almost steal, but then a foul. 4.4 remaining.
Yeah, Will Stein checking in early for Perk Valley. Watched him in the JV game. Really played well in the JV game and has throughout the season. So getting some time here. Coach Poison looking to throw some younger games into this rivalry.
A lob into Marsilio, but a missed opportunity, and that will end the first half. PV down 16-31. We'll be back in just a bit.
halftime now, so when I can hear you.
All right, folks, and we are back here for the second half of action of this basketball matchup between Perkiomen Valley Vikings and Springford Rams. Rams up 31 to 16. Gentlemen, as we head into this second half, thoughts on what PV needs to do?
Yeah, PV's going to have to play better offensively, more patient offensively. Not a bad job on defense. Again, they can't give Springford second and third opportunities. They have to rebound the basketball. Springford out here in that trapping 2-3 zone, which is really executed well by them. But that's what PV's going to have to do. Then nice shot there by Colin Hollingsworth. Play good defense. When you get the ball on offense, don't look to score quick.
Right.
You don't want to take the air out of the ball, but you certainly want to, again, value the basketball and value your opportunities, especially when you're not a high percentage shooting team.
And Rylan, what are your thoughts of heading into the second half?
Exactly what he said. It's rebounding. Last you saw second quarter, some points coming off of the rebounds, and you saw them getting 2-3 chances. And it's also offense rebound. I know we saw once last quarter, but it was that putback of, I think it was John Boyd, which is more of that. Finding that rebound can help us so much.
Yeah, the ball got a little skittle there, but, they came down offensively and looked to score quickly. Don't do that. It's the best advice I can tell them. Don't do that. Be patient. Chip away at this. Plenty of time for only a 11-point lead.
PV putting 2 unanswered buckets on the board, making it a 31-20 advantage, but a foul here is going to put Jack Kennedy on the free throw line.
That's on John Boyd. I believe it might be his second foul. Springford so far tonight, a very good free throw shooting team. I don't know their exact percentage, but really doing a nice job at the line.
Certainly taking advantage when given that opportunity to go to the free throw line, and Kennedy knocking down both, bringing this lead back to 13.
Jack Kennedy, a junior. He'll be back next year as well. Here's that 2-3 extended trapping defense.
Kelly finds Rodriguez. Defense doubles in, and a 3 on the way for Boyd. And as you said, they're having these opportunities, but you know what? Work the ball. Spend time, make their defense work, and then find the better basket opportunity, because at this point, like, if you're just going to take every open shot you get, your offense is not going to be in position to rebound. And when things don't fall your way, you're going to be treading back on defense. So
yeah, and like you just said, make them work. You're making it easy for the Springford defense when you come down and shoot after 4 or 5 passes. They're just grabbing rebounds and then coming down and running their offense. Oh, we got away with a push off there, Jacob to win. Crafty play, but referees didn't call it.
It looks like a jump ball is going to be called here. Some intensity down underneath the basket is going to remain here for the Rams.
Tommy Kelly and Colin Hollingsworth tied up with that basketball.
Kennedy drives. That one off the mark. It may have been blocked. Boyd kicks to Hollingsworth. Now here's where PV needs to settle down.
Yep, good patient offense here.
And they're calling a walk here on Chase Kelly.
Yeah, kind of got in a situation there under the basket. He's got 2 defenders on him. Wasn't able to make the pass out, so he got caught with his momentum carrying him into that travel.
It looks like PV is basically driving and kicking to try to move the ball against this defense. And I don't know if it's always the best move. That's how you get those really tough calls or turn the ball over.
That's Anthony's second. Again, you're a good 32, 33 feet from the basket. Play just good defense. No need to get in there and get your hands into a situation where you're going to draw a foul or commit a foul, I'm sorry.
Keogh subs in for Chase Kelly. Sayer Barnes controls, drives into the lane, a scoop off the mark. Tommy Kelly, rebound, misses that put back and is going to go back to the Vikings.
Yeah, Jordan Marsilio with the rebound initially and then losing the second one. Almost able to get the offensive board and go back up. Springford into a man-to-man now.
Springford doing a good job of continually switching up what their defensive looks are, making it difficult for the Vikings. Harkin against Barnes. Step back. That jumper off the mark, really not falling tonight for the Vikings, and the Vikings luck out there where Tommy Kelly dribbles off his foot.
Yeah, Jacob there kind of pulling the string on his jump shot there, flicking his hand back instead of just following through, letting the ball release, get that backspin rotation. Keep your body straight as best you can. Nice recovery there by Jordan Marsilio.
Marsilio drives, and no call here is going to, it looks like that they're going to count the basket, but there was no call. Clearly it looked like there was something, but no call there for that play.
Yeah, Joey Keogh went down to the floor pretty hard. He's up and okay. We have a timeout called by a 30-second timeout called by Coach Poisden.
Yeah, and it's a good time to do that. PV down by 15 again. They're really trying to hammer back into this, never really making any headway. But an opportunity to kind of settle the troops and figure out where you're going to go here for the second half of the quarter.
One of the things we've seen throughout the season is waiting to see some pressure by PV, and I think Coach Poisden is kind of reluctant to do that he doesn't necessarily have the horses to cover all the ground that he needs to cover. I mean, it is a good defensive team from a standpoint of what they do back in the half-court game, but from a full-court game, I almost think at some point you gotta attempt something. Now, we're only with 4 minutes left in the third, but like Springford, but of course playing at a different level right now as a team, is able to switch things up. I think PV has to look to try to do something to try to create a turnover or get Springford to play out of their comfort level.
Yeah, you wonder if some sort of a trapping defense, something in the half court or maybe even three-quarter court might get things going for them. That jumper off the mark there for Hollingsworth, which has pretty much been the story of the night for jumpers for the Vikings. Sayer Barnes pulls up for three, and that one is good.
Yeah, that puts them up by 18 now. PV's really going to have to look to get some baskets here and just not allow this to get away from them.
Harkin up to Keogh.
Marsilio just kind of sitting in the lane. It's almost like a matchup zone for Springford right now.
That three is good there for Keogh.
Good shot by Joey. Had his feet set, ready to go up. Took advantage of it.
First one in a long time. Could be the first three all night for the Vikings. PV down by 15. 3 minutes remain in the third quarter. Sayer Barnes works against Keogh. Boyd comes over and they trap, and it looks like they're going to call timeout here for the Rams. Nice defensive intensity for the Vikings.
Yeah, Coach Dempsey able to get the timeout before the turnover there. Got him trapped in the corner, so Coach Poisden looking to see where they're going to get the ball, and it's going to be underneath on the baseline.
Yeah, and you wonder if PV's going to switch up their defensive looks. Obviously, Springford has found success. They're picking their spots, and they're moving the ball. At this point, is there a change? Do they do something different?
Yeah, I mean, and you do it simply from the standpoint as the game is a 15-point lead, and with only 2:49 left in the third, you got to do something now where you're going to get the ball into your hand more often. And unfortunately, I don't want to say shoot quicker, but you're going to have to look to get shots, quality shots off at a higher rate, which again is not, I don't think, indicative of what Coach Poisden wants to do, but that is the situation. So if that is, then you got to look to do something defensively that's going to get the ball back into your hand more quickly.
Keogh, nice hands, is going to put the ball back underneath the basket for Springford.
You might see Springford play a little bit more deliberately here. Even though we still haven't hit the fourth quarter, but they're more willing to sit and take a really high-quality shot, and like we were saying PV should do, get that defense to work.
Bit of a scrum. Win recovers, and that foul is going to get against Collingsworth.
Yeah, Jacob Wynn knew he got Colin up in the air, so he put his shoulder into him going up with the shot and knew that he was going to draw the foul, and consequently he's at the line shooting 2.
And the first one is off the mark for Nguyen.
Tommy Kelly led all scorers the last time Springford faced Norristown, which they beat them 72-49. Tommy Kelly with 21 points in a Liberty Division win. Jacob Nguyen chipped in with 16 against Norristown.
And that free throw also off the mark. So Nguyen missing both. Will Stein checking back into the game for the Vikings.
Springford going three-quarter court pressure here. PV trying to split it into the middle. That's a tight spot to get that pass in.
Yeah, right in the heart of that defense. Really a tough pass. Springford causes the turnover. Tommy Kelly makes the drive and scores on the opposite side. Nice looking move there for Kelly.
Yeah, nice reverse layup. Now up 17, staying in that three-quarter court diamond and one.
Stein kicks. Hollingsworth for 3. And it's good.
Good shot by Colin from the corner.
Yeah, and in both opportunities where three-pointers were made here for the Vikings, guys were in spots ready to shoot. Not thinking, opportunities, nice flow. You wonder if the PV can get into a rhythm and maybe get some more jumpers that way. Looks like a foul here is going to be called.
It's going to be on number 25 for Perk Valley.
That'll be Will Stein.
Yeah, trying to keep up with Jacob Wynn. Jacob Wynn not to the level of, but reminds me of Justin Jaworski. You know, he works really hard to get open. He's going to fly around the floor. So if you've got the job of defending him, you better be ready to hustle.
And that opportunity at the lane was blocked there by Stein. Great defense against Wynn. Springford retains control. And they're going to take their time. They've got about a minute remaining here in the third quarter, and there's no reason for them to rush things up by 14.
Ty Hoppenwasser, that's a tough matchup for him against Marsilio. Good job by Coach Dempsey identifying the mismatch there. He just wasn't going to be able to cover him. Peavy should have collapsed into the lane a little bit more even before he thought about driving, kind of making him think twice about it, but a little too late reacting. He was able to get the easy 2.
Tough opportunity there for Hoppenwasser to just guard a guy on the perimeter that way, and Marsilio really taking advantage. .30 seconds left in the third quarter. My guess is Springford's going to sit for the last shot. PV trying to get a double out of this. A 16-point advantage for the Rams, and they're going to slow things down to the final moments. Nice hands there for Hoppenwasser, but it's going to stay here for Springford. The PV has 14 fouls. Jacob Wynn runs to the opposite corner. That 3 off the mark, but PV could not come up with a rebound anyway. We end there with a 42-26 advantage. Rylan, thoughts on that third quarter?
I want to say good shots taken, but they're just not falling in. He had 2 of those threes, and how you said earlier, they're in the perfect spot just for the shot, but it's just shots are just not going in, and they're good shots. They have space to shoot them, but they're just not falling, and that's really not doing too good for us right now. We'll see what PV comes out in the fourth quarter here with. If Coach Poison wants to try to run, something we've been talking about to try to get the ball in their hands, it's going to have to be some sort of half-court or three-quarter court or even full-court pressure of some sort.
The only problem is when you don't have the personnel to really get you in the right spots, a good team is just going to slice it up. And next thing you know, you can have that lead balloon really quickly. So I'm sure he wants to pick his moments, but we'll see what they come out with, down by 16 points at this point. You're going to have to do something.
Yeah, it's been tough, and there's a lot of things that are necessarily not working in the favor of the Vikings. Obviously, the rebounding. I mean, I would say it starts there, specifically on the defensive end. The opportunities that Springford have had to really just find opportunities to score has just been too many opportunities.
Yeah, it's been a problem all season for this Perkiomen Valley squad, and it's just something that at this point in the season, it's just something it's going to be tough to overcome.
Stein stays in the game. Tough pass is picked off there by Kelly, and a score in transition for the Rams. Springford maintains their high pressure in the half court.
And PV playing way up high to it, which is really just doing Springford a favor because you really need to get somebody down on the baseline that's going to attack from the back side of it. And if you're not, then you're just going to play in the back half of the front court, which is where the game's being played.
Yeah, opportunities to really release that pressure by throwing a high post player or on the baseline. This one, a foul. I'm sorry, a block. Out of bounds is going to keep it here for the Rams. Anthony Rodriguez hobbling here a little bit for the Vikings.
Colin Hollingsworth checked out. Looks like he might be checking back in. Might be coming in for Anthony Rodriguez.
Zaire Barnes is going to go to the free throw line after that foul. Nice drive to the basket, but could not connect.
Gets the roll.
Anthony Rodriguez is going to check out, and we'll see what's going on with him. Looks like he's hobbling just a tad. And Barnes makes the second. So Springford up 20 points at this point. We're just starting this fourth quarter. Chase Kelly with the ball up top, finds Harkin, a kick to the wing. Hollingsworth, three-pointer is off the mark. Marcilio slows things down for the Rams. And Marcilio scores in transition, and we have a 22-point advantage here for the Rams.
Yeah, Perk Valley, nobody on the backside to help out there. Kind of taking some, you got to gamble at some point here, and that's kind of what they're doing.
Turnover here. Blake Turner kicks to Marcilio. And Zaire Barnes is going to slow things down. Harkin guards him up on the perimeter. That one, Blake Turner. A nice putback there for the Rams. Makes this a 50-26 advantage. Rylan, any thoughts at this point? We're only 2 minutes into the fourth quarter.
I want to say they're catching PV. Springford's catching PV sleeping. They're taking fast break, turnover, hustling for that ball, and that's turning into points for them and open lanes to drive. And that's just not PV needs it. If they want to at least keep in with score, they need to close down that paint on that defense, and hopefully that can help.
Yeah, this Springford team's a good team. There's no getting around it. They really execute well and play well together. And after losing two players that they were counting on for this season in Oben Mukanchu and Lemire Green, who both have transferred, they've really replaced them nicely. And, they're really doing a nice job. They're not a big team by any stretch, but they really execute well, especially at the defensive end. Their offense, Jacob Wynn's going to carry them, and Tommy Kelly's going to carry them with their scoring ability. But defensively, they really do a nice job communicating in that 2-3 extended zone. So that's gonna give teams problems when they get into district play.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think their ability to be successful in a variety of formats on the defensive side of things is going to make them really dangerous in the postseason, especially for teams that aren't used to seeing them. So that's going to be a huge key for them.
Yeah, watch Zaire Barnes in this. He's on the back side of it, so you really want an athletic player that can get from corner to corner on the baseline, and he does a great job of it. And also, he's quarterbacking that from back there, so he's the one seeing the whole floor and communicating to his teammates where people are cutting. So he's really the catalyst with that defense that they run, that extended 2-3 trap.
We're about 5.5 minutes remaining here in the game. Tommy Kelly against Hollingsworth. Zaire Barnes against Keogh. He'll pull up for three. That off the front rim. A rebound out to Harkin. He's fouled in the open court by Nguyen. And it's going to stay here for the Vikings.
And Jacob Nguyen trying to stop the fast break of Jacob Harkin. Jacob Harkin having a quiet night tonight.
Yeah, tough. For Jacob, I mean, he's so successful in so many opportunities offensively. His jump shot just really not falling. Even his drives to the basket, rolling in, rolling out. He's trying so hard, and he's a guy that just, his work ethic is unbelievable. I know, there you go. Harkin for three.
Well, and that's been one of the other issues, too, is when you look at Jacob's scoring average, which is 15.5 a game, the next highest scoring average is 6.6 points a game with John Boyd. That's a big disparity. So, if you're not getting scoring from other spots, it's really hard to carry your team. And, again, goes back to shot selection needed to be more acute, where you're not taking as many shots, looking to get to Jacob when you can. And, and a good team like Springford, they know where Jacob Harkin is on the floor. So they're not going to give him easy opportunities by any stretch.
And if you think back to the Viking teams in the past that have found success, they've always had those one or two role players who were good for 8, 9, 10 points a game, just in simple opportunities, taking that offensive pressure off of the bigger scorers like the Jaworskis and Sean Kellys of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of missing right now. Jacob's third personal foul with 4:40 left in the contest.
A drive into the lane. Kelly pulls out. And he's going to slow things down here for the Rams.
Yeah, they're going to eat as much clock as they can at this point. As you see the ball out towards half court, they're just going to run everything spread and see if PV fouls them or look for easy back cuts and get get easy layups.
A nice dump down there from Luke Puffco inside for an easy Springford score.
Springford kind of stepping that zone back a little bit.
Hollingsworth for another three. That one is way off. Jack Kennedy gets the rebound. And that is good. That nice drive by Kennedy is going to put him into the free throw line, hopefully, for the Rams, finish off that three-point play.
Yeah, they're seeing all that space in the middle of the lane as PV defensively is coming out to their players or coming out to whoever they're covering, trying to, again, cut down passing lanes, things like that, in hopes of getting into a passing lane and stealing the ball. But it does leave you vulnerable to that easy layup if you're able to get by your defender, and we've seen that a couple times now in the last 2 minutes.
That free throw off the mark.
You got his money's worth out of that on the rim,
yeah,
that's for sure.
It touched every part of the rim. But no go for the free throw. A three on the way is good for Harkin. The win against Harkin.
Ooh.
And that looks like a foul there. And Harkin is motioning that he was pushing off the entire time. And I don't necessarily disagree with
Yeah,
that.
Jacob Nguyen's been doing that a lot in the game. I had actually mentioned it the one time underneath. As we call him, a crafty player. They're able to put themselves in a position where the referee can't see what they're doing. Maybe with the man that's defending them, and you're creating some space, and and then he comes across with the foul, and that was highly visible.
Yeah, clearly, and he's going to go to the free throw line. We have 5 team fouls here against the Vikings, and they'll be shooting for the remainder of the game.
Austin Kelly checking in for the first time for PV. Looks like Coach Poisden's bringing in some players that don't normally get some time. As this is a 24-point lead. Oh, and fouled there, that's for sure. He'll go to the line shooting 3.
Will Stein will shoot 3.
Not sure who Springford has next, but as we mentioned, our girls will be playing Springford tomorrow night here. And as you mentioned earlier, Sean, early in the broadcast, coming off a big win over Archbishop Wood. And the girls really seem to be, I'm going to be honest here, and I'm going to catch flack for this. I was a little uncertainty about how their continuity was going, and I haven't seen them play a whole lot, but just seeing as the season in the first half was playing out. But looking at their opponents recently and who they've beaten and how much they've beaten them by, there's no problem there. This team is set to make a run as they want to, and they're really a very mature group, and it's kind of really neat to see. And tomorrow night, it's not the same Springford team of old, but certainly again it's a rivalry. So Springford's going to come with everything they've got for our PV girls tomorrow night. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm really impressed by how the girls are playing, especially against better competition this year. When you're playing teams from the Catholic League and playing teams that are top 5 in the country that they face down in Florida over the holidays and coming on the losing end of that, but that's only going to make you better. So as we near the PAC playoffs and then district and hopefully state playoffs, we'll get to see them shine.
Yeah, talking to some of the girls today in school, I mean, they cannot wait to get into the postseason. And it's hard to, at this point, when you still have so much left of the PAC season, right, for them, and then playoffs. But really, they're looking for that opportunity, and I think they're hungry. They realize what they need to do, and I think that for them, that their defensive intensity and also to withstand whatever punch they're going to get thrown at, because they're going to get everyone's best punch.
Yeah, and when you go through a season in the PAC like we have, and the disparity of the talent level and the skill level, and just trying to get through those games and knock on wood, injury-free, that's a feat in itself. So with that, and they certainly have had expectations the last 3 years and unmet expectations. And here they are in their final year. I'm sure they feel the pressure on themselves, but at the same time, it really seems like they're really coming together at a different level right now.
Yeah, and really all the different players. I mean, I've seen them play a number of times, and every single player has improved tremendously from one season to the next So here in that senior round, I think they're poised to do some really good things in the postseason. So we have a timeout here on the floor. PV down 56-37 against the Rams.
Yeah, our guys just, struggling. And it kind of is what we saw tonight is a little bit here and a little bit there of what we've seen all season. The, not great defensive rebounding, playing really well defensively, with the exception of you get into times like this and now you're going to see some extra baskets and trash baskets and things like that. But overall, a good team defensively, just poor decisions offensively, and either how quickly they decide to shoot or what kind of shot. And then when they would, like Rylan alluded to coming out of the first half, is a lot of missed layups. Finally getting to the basket, we'll say, and then not finishing. And that's been indicative of the season as well.
Yeah, and this has been a game, I think, of missed opportunities for the Vikings. I mean, really, when you have opportunities inside and layups, you have to capitalize, especially against a team this strong offensively and defensively as Springford is.
Yeah, it was going to be tough to play, to come out with a win. There's no doubt about that. We understand that. But you had opportunities early on to keep the game in control and then let the chips fall where they may going from that point on. And they just, again, those things that have been showing up all season showed up again.
Kyle Tracy finding some minutes here for the Vikings. Under 90 seconds to go here in this ball game.
Yeah, Springford's just going to run their offense, a basic offense here, kind of like a wheel offense. Call timeout here to get one of their players in. Number 23, Evan Deal checking in, a junior guard for Springford.
Also number 24, Declan Plate, a sophomore.
From the corner. That shot's off.
Kyle Tracy pulls up for three, and that one's good.
There you go. That's two for Kyle. Trace the ace. I told him I would call him that only if he hit a three-pointer, and he did.
That's a good one. Did you make that one up?
No, I did not. he named himself.
Okay. Does that count as a nickname when you come up with it on your own?
Yeah. Well, actually, I shouldn't say he did it. I had heard it from other students. So
Trace the ace it is, and knocking down that three. And that three there for Ty Hoppenwasser.
There's Kyle Tracy stealing it, turning, firing it up. He's feeling it. Just not able to connect there.
A three on the way here. And that one is good for number 21, Duke Jackson, for the Rams. Tracy again. That one off the back iron. Trace not so much the ace on that possession.
No, his shooting percentage went from 100% to 50% in less than 25 seconds.
That's interesting. That score there. For number 12, I'm sorry. Who was that one? I didn't get the number. And then we'll end this game here with a 61-43 win for the Rams. The Vikings coming up short. Gentlemen, before we end, any thoughts finally?
Yeah, it's again, it was a microcosm of the season, but I think we have one more game left, if I'm not mistaken.
They take on Methacton, I think, to finish things off.
Yeah, so, put it all into that game. The likelihood of making it to the PAC playoffs is non-existent, and district playoffs would take a lot of things to happen out of their control. So put it all into one game and then on a positive note.
Rylan, thoughts as we end up?
It was just Springford beat them. There was nothing PB could do, and it was either if it was rebounding or PB shooting 33% from the field. Springford's a good team, and PB just got outplayed by them, or the defense wasn't too good. Well, defense was good, but there's rebounding also.
All right, so we'll send it back. We'll see you guys next time here tomorrow evening for the Springford PV basketball girls opportunity. But have a good night. Thanks for joining us.